This video will explore some best practices for preparing your course content to be taught fully online. We will answer questions like, what is the best way to reproduce a lecture in an online course? What if you have a series of PowerPoint presentations? Or what if you want your students to read peer-reviewed articles? Our primary goal in this video is to help you produce accessible, interactive, and dynamic resources for your online course. The key point to keep in mind is that you should not think of your online course as another version of your face-to-face course. Rather, think of it as a new approach to delivering the same content. This video will help you consider the advantages of repurposing your existing content for online delivery. Let's delve into that a little bit more. An important thing to consider when adapting your materials is the learning experience of an online student. When you teach a face-to-face course, you are physically present to provide immediate context for readings and assignments and to explain difficult concepts. In an online course, you will need to provide that context and support through the content you include and interaction you have with your students. There are a few things to think about when you are creating your online course. First, your content should reflect your presence. This means that your original course materials should include important context and instructions written in your own words. In a face-to-face course, you would explain the relevance of the readings and assignments during class time. You offer your original thoughts, interpretations, and additional explanations if needed. The same should be done in your online course by including your own words as often as possible in explanations, instructions, and discussion. Avoid simply reiterating what is in the material you assign for reading and viewing. What you provide in terms of additional context adds significant value to the learning experience of your students. Next, communicate clearly and deliberately. Because you are not in the same room as your students, your discourse in an online environment is through text and video. Clarity and precision is important for guiding students through the material when you are not there. You should also be aware of how students may be interpreting your tone. When you communicate through text, try not to leave room for misinterpretation. Use formal and respectful language, but show personality to make students feel more comfortable. Next, your material should be relevant and aligned. Resources, activities, and assessments should be clearly related to the course outcomes and module learning objectives. Often, instructors view online courses as a dumping ground for any content related to the topic they are teaching. Without proper instructional design, this can confuse students because they have no context for how it should be utilized and applied to their learning outcomes. In other words, any content or activity included in the course should be related to the course learning goals, and unrelated content should not be included. Furthermore, explain the relevance of each piece of content, whether it is a video, a hyperlink, an image, or text. This also helps you establish a presence throughout the course. Next, be aware of cognitive load. This applies to both the amount of material you provide and the method of delivery. Remember that instructional material should be presented efficiently and effectively in order to maximize retention. This may mean being very intentional in reviewing your content and including only those things that highlight the core concepts that apply directly to the learning outcomes. In addition, people learn in many different ways. Try to reduce extraneous cognitive load as much as possible by maximizing opportunities for presenting information in both auditory and visual channels, while also eliminating irrelevant or unnecessary information. Finally, content should be accessible and follow copyright law. Your course materials should be accessible to all students, which means that they should meet specific accessibility guidelines. For example, all videos should be captioned, images should include alternate text, and hyperlinks should open websites in the same window. Also, ensure that materials you add to your course fall within copyright and fair use guidelines. If in doubt, your subject area librarian is able to assist you in helping you determine what is within fair use and legal to share in your course, and what would infringe on copyright laws. Now let's look at some specific types of content that you might include and some best practices for delivery. First, we'll look at text resources. This could include notes that you might use to give a lecture, documents that you hand out, or anything else that you have written that you want to communicate to your students. With documents, it is tempting and easy to simply upload the files to the Moodle sections or modules, which requires students to download and open them. Instead of creating a file dump, it is best practice to keep the material within the Moodle site so that students do not have to leave the course page to access what they need. One way to do this is to use the Moodle Book feature to house your content. This type of resource can house several types of files and media where it can be easily accessed by your students. Let's take a look at adding text to the book resource. First, add the book to your course and click on the title link to add chapters. The chapters and subchapters in the book should correspond to logical divisions in your materials, which you can organize according to headings. Consider the following when you decide the number of chapters and their topics. Use chunking strategies to reduce cognitive load. Separating out topics helps students compartmentalize information so that it is easier to remember. Longer sections may cause your students' attention to wane. Organize information in clear hierarchies. Before putting your information into a book, create an outline that shows you which sections will be main chapters and subchapters. Make sure the division and order are logical. If your content is made up of mostly text, include images or tables to add variety. Visuals can help with comprehension and retention because they present information in a different way. Look for places in your text where you can present a paragraph or a concept in a diagram or chart. You can also present data in a table where possible. When you have decided how to break up your content into digestible and visually appealing sections, copy and paste the text and insert images and tables. If you have created a handout that you would like students to be able to print, you can embed it as an accessible PDF with a toolbar and scroll bars. Don't forget that you can also include hyperlinks. To adhere to accessibility standards and copyright laws, hyperlink to any content that you did not create yourself, including websites and scholarly articles. You may deliver your lecture material in a PowerPoint presentation in your face-to-face course. In an online course, uploading a slideshow without your supporting context or explanation might leave students confused about how the content supports the course learning outcomes, especially if the slides only contain bullet points and a few images. Best practice is to provide the material in a way that preserves your input and the supporting information. A great way to deliver a PowerPoint file in an online course is as a video with audio voiceover. Record yourself explaining the concepts on each slide, and then export the slideshow as an MP4 file. Remember that you are providing important information in your voiceovers that cannot be found in any other resource, so be sure not to read the slides verbatim. In fact, include only the relevant and key points as text on your slides to avoid that temptation. You should use the voiceover to provide context for what is on the screen. And you can include the voiceover text in the notes section of the slideshow, which can then be used to produce a transcript of the video. Also, use images and animations to make sure the resource is dynamic and interactive. You do not have to include a video of yourself when you record voiceover, though it adds to the student experience to see who is talking. In Moodle, you can include an explanation with the embedded video that tells what the video is about. If you are not comfortable creating a video, you can simply record audio for each slide and upload the PowerPoint file with a transcript. Remember that if you upload the file this way, you are requiring students to download the file in order to open it. You should also include an explanation of the presentation's relevance to the course outcomes. In an online course, it is important to create opportunities to make contact with your students. Establishing instructor presence is one of the primary considerations of designing an effective online learning experience because it helps students to know that someone is there to guide and monitor their progress on the other side of the computer screen. One of the best ways to foster this engagement is to create videos for portions of lecture or discussion in your course. Videos are a great way to add variety to your materials and to forge a connection with your students. You can use videos as part of your course materials to Number 1, explain difficult or important concepts. 2, provide additional real-world context through examples. And 3, discuss the relevance of a specific topic to the student's learning goals. Hearing your voice is important to students learning online because it establishes a presence in the course. Showing your face in a video is an option too, and it helps students feel connected to you and part of a community. This concludes our video on transforming your face-to-face course into an online course. For more information on the technologies covered in this video, visit groq.lsu.edu. If you have any Moodle or technology-related questions or would like assistance, please contact the Faculty Technology Center at 225-578-3375, option 2, or email ftc@lsu.edu.